Afrofish OG.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Afro in the Know. Just for you guys, where I don't count episodes anymore because I kind of stopped giving a fuck. But like, I just have a lot of people that I talk to, surprisingly. But this one's a little bit different for y'all because we got a bunch of returning. Hydramazing, the TheHuskyHokage, all back to talk about the first 3 months of this 2026. But I feel like it's been pretty eventful. I'm not gonna lie.
Terrible.
It's been awesome.
We got very varying opinions today on this stuff. So I want to know from y'all, like, a little bit, for those who don't know, maybe just your experiences from 2026 so far, the first few months. I mean, I guess we can start with Hydra first.
All right, sure. I think 2026 has been. Okay, wait, come back to me. I need to clear my throat for a second. I'm a little sick.
I'll start. It's been a shit show. PlayStation just bro. I bought a PS5 Pro when it first dropped for $700 some. I think when the PS5 Pro dropped, 2024, November 2024, something like that. It's not old. Still fairly new console. That bitch is borderline $1,000 after taxes, depending on where you stay. Fucking $1,000, bro. Same tech, more money.
That sounds like a good investment to me.
Well, it's appreciating. It's definitely appreciating. So maybe I can sell mine for cheaper and come off a little.
I only think so too.
Yeah. So there's that. But as far as like games we're getting, it looks like it might be a pretty. We got some good stuff coming, but. With these prices, it's kind of like that's all I got to say.
Okay, I'll take my turn back now that I'm free of sickness. I think that just kind of sociologically, like audience-wise, it's been very interesting in 2026 to see how people have reacted to various releases. You know, we've had High Guard, we've got Crimson Desert, we've got Marathon. Kind of those three games have really ignited a fire in gaming spaces of people who really don't play games talking about games, which I think is, very fun to watch. In terms of games I like playing, we got Dynasty Warriors Origins DLC. We got a Monster Hunter Stories 3. Been enjoying those games. We're getting Saros next month. For those of you who don't know, I speedrun Returnal, so I'm really, really, really excited for Saros.
I need to leave. You're a maniac. Returnal beat my ass on that damn game.
Returnal, I love Returnal. I'm top 6 in the world. I'm trying to get into that top 5 before Saros comes out. But yeah, I'm very mixed bag in 2026 so far. Game releases I love, but also discourse I'm not a big fan of.
No, that's fair. That's fair. What about you, Husky?
Gaming wise, man, 2026 has started off really well. We got some really good games from RE9. Didn't play it, but I watched a couple people play it. Dub streamed it. Shout out to Dub for streaming it for your boy. Crimson Desert, you say not planning on playing Saros. It looks amazing though. Also, Mouse PI for Hire drops next month. Then a game I'm super excited for, Pragmata, comes out as well. So like it's 2026 is starting off and starting to look good gaming wise. The gaming industry side, the people that's in that space, I feel sorry for them because a lot of these people followed their dreams of wanting to develop games and things like that, working for these studios, and like more studio closures, stuff like this. Price of consoles are going up instead of depreciating like they normally would, all because of other stuff that's going on. Man, it's kind of a mixed bag, but like as far as a gamer, just someone consumer wise, as far as the gaming side, Gaming looks amazing, but it's just as a whole, I'm kind of on it right now.
That makes sense. Makes sense. What's up, Voices? Voices on Demand also in here as well.
Have you played? Let me ask Voices. Have you played the demo? If you have not played the demo, I do recommend playing the demo. And it's out on.
Sick.
Yes,
I haven't
the
played
demo
the
is
demo.
amazing.
Is it on PS5?
It's on PS5, Xbox, Steam, all of it. I think it may be on Switch too as well. Yeah, go play the demo. Please go play the demo.
I'm waiting till it drops before I play anything.
The demo's only 20 minutes. It's only 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's a very like speedy demo. You get the mechanics, you get like one boss fight in and out, and it's a great taster for like the potential of the game.
Correct.
Correct. I mean, I'm glad that's how demos should be. Like, I enjoy the demos that are quick and to the point, but also I'm not gonna lie, I love demos also that are like if they are longer, they let you just continue from that point on. Like Final Fantasy 16 did that.
Yeah. I love that.
You can just do the beginning of it. So now, like, whenever I play, I don't have to ever go back to do the beginning shit again. And I'm like, okay, good enough for me.
Who had a good demo? Digimon Time Strangers had a real good demo.
Yes, yes, they did.
I'm gonna buy Digimon.
And Monster Hunter Stories 3, they did the same thing.
It's worth it. Digimon
I'm gonna do a Time Stranger. I'm going to. I told myself it was one of those games that I wanted to get, and I'm gonna get it. Probably not till I move though. But wife not liking if I go and start dropping $70 on stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, I think one of the biggest thing right now is the price hike, and I think the price hike is obviously it's bullshit. If you're a person who does not have a PlayStation, I don't think this is gonna make you want to go get one anytime soon. The price hike is shitty. I believe Sony was mentioning they're struggling with the chips, like getting the microchips from them because of one of the microchips moving, or the RAM. Okay, moving from data, they're moving the data centers, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Those AI data centers, and that kind of leads to like a really big issue here when it comes to the fact of, you know, these data centers where they're costing a lot of energy, they're costing a lot of resources, and now those resources are hitting gaming. I mean, on top of other stuff we already had going on.
Yeah, and I mean, they're costing a lot of resources, they're costing a lot of energy and all this stuff. They're taking up a lot of space, and they aren't really giving us a lot, right? Like AI. I won't be a full like anti-AI person, because I think in medicine there's some areas where it's definitely improved things. But when you see all these things like, oh, we're bringing AI into gaming, it's going to help with gaming development, it's not good enough to do that. And the amount of resources it takes to even try is so vast that it's just sucking up all the tech in the room from everywhere else and making everything else more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And there are those people losing their jobs because of it on top of that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that's one of the biggest issues is, like, one, I hate seeing people lose their jobs, especially losing it to technology. But like on top of that too, like we're seeing it's taking up a lot of resources. It's not actually helping, I don't think, in the grand scheme of things. I actually think it's doing more damage, especially when you look into people like people's ability to critically think, being able to research all that stuff. So it's having an effect on like people's literacy and intelligence.
I just saw a study recently that was saying people there's already been a significant decline in cognitive function from using AI amongst their users. I forgot the percentage, but it's already been a decline in people because they're not exercising their brain. They're just going to ChatGPT and be like,
if you find that, let me know.
I'm gonna find the link because I'm in a PhD program, so a lot of times I do a lot of different studies and researches and stuff like that. So I just saw it, so I'm gonna look for it for you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, because a lot of people they treat AI as kind of a magical answer button, like even more so than Google, because you have to do less work to get the answer. You just type in the question. You don't even have to click on links or search to see if they make sense or anything. It will just tell you something, and you kind of have it. And so if people are relying on it for answers about everything, they aren't really, they're not required to think about anything. And it's causing people to kind of forget how to think or disregard thinking altogether.
I would agree.
And to your point, you have to double check what it tells you. It fucked up my playthrough of Divinity. I was literally going through Divinity, and I did not, and it bugged somewhere, and basically I lost my whole party fucking with ChatGPT. It's like, oh yeah, they're coming back. Like, yeah, just keep on playing. They're coming back. I lost my whole fucking party. I had to like rent out a party. Like I was doing their storylines and everything. I was playing Divinity 2 Original Sin. I literally lost my whole party fucking with ChatGPT. You have to check what ChatGPT is telling you.
Yeah, it
because
lies all the time.
It pulls things like, because if I'm on Reddit feeling Reddit with bullshit, it's gonna pull that bullshit.
Yep. And what it's doing really is just giving you a confirmation bias. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's like there's a cognitive decline in people in general. Everything going on shows that they don't even question things, and that's true. AI gives them a lack of curiosity, and I think we're seeing that just overall in general.
Americans in general.
I would say the cognitive decline in general, I would say, is more, not to sound conspiracy brained or anything, more orchestrated than I think we're letting on here. Like the defunding of education, the defunding of the arts, the defunding of all of these different institutions that are meant to kind of uplift people's knowledge and critical thinking, and replacing that with, here's the answer. Just memorize, take an input, shoot out an output. And the reason why AI is so primed to help people cheat in school or take people's jobs is because we've structured a society where that's all that's required of us, to just take an input and give an output. But like that doesn't promote critical thinking. So when that's required for important decisions, say, elections or something, the building blocks to even form those thoughts isn't there. But it's not there by accident. It's because it's been systemically defunded over time.
Agreed. No, absolutely agreed. And I think that's like when we're seeing this. I feel like we see this a little bit, and this could be just me, because I think it all leads into one big word that people don't like: the boogeyman of gaming, politics.
Whoa.
And politics is such.
Let me tell me something, because he just talked about how people don't like to look for stuff. The same thing can be said about people and their politics, because somebody will tell you something and you will not research it. Mm-hmm. With AI coming in the picture, on top of that, you have people putting out fake news about different things, no pun intended. You have people putting out fake news about stuff, and people not going behind what they read and research. Like during the election, I saw so much misinformation about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump on both sides. It pissed me off regardless, because you're misleading people from their right to choose, whether it be good or bad. But a lot of times, case in point, what Hydra was saying, a lot of people don't like to look for stuff. They don't like to think.
I think something people need to realize is that even if the end conclusion supports your point, you should still be wary of people who are just making stuff up, because not only is that just bad, misinformation is bad, but it also makes your point weaker. When you have somebody else coming alongside you and saying, here's the thing, yeah, I agree with you, and also this, and that thing is a complete lie, or it's made up, or it's just not right, like you're leaving your own argument open to completely being dismantled if you don't try to like tackle that. And so a lot of people, they know how to look out for things when it's against their beliefs already. They know how to look out for misinformation stuff. They're like, oh, that doesn't seem right because I already don't believe it. But if it's supporting something you already believe, it's still equally as important to double check things, to go out there and look for, secondary sources, because people lie even if they believe in what you believe.
In case of point of what you said earlier, AIs, they're gonna, when you ask a question, because case in point, I have a frat brother that played football. I said, hey, do you think I could beat this person in a fight? They told me no. I said, well, this person has an injury history. Oh, if that's the case, there's no fucking way I'm being an NFL athlete, dog. I don't care who it is.
Yeah,
you feel me? But that one little point changed the answer to suit what I wanted it to say. And of course, I ran with it because I was like, yeah, I could beat your ass, but just to be a dick. But like that one little talk point, you can manipulate it to saying what you wanted to say. Like I could probably make ChatGPT say I'm the smartest motherfucker in the country. Hey, our president doesn't have a college degree or a higher education. Do you think I'm smarter than our president for me doing a PhD program? Yeah, I think you are probably smarter than your president since you have a higher level of education doing X, Y, and Z. It's easy to do. And a lot of people want yes men in their corner nowadays. They just want they want confirmation of what they believe in. When you need somebody to tell you, hey, you fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
Yes.
and that's how I was mentioned before. That's why they use things like AI. How many times have you heard someone say, "Well, like Google this," and it's like a research. I Googled it, and I'm like, "Well, Google's not a source. It's a search engine. Like you actually have to go read into what's actually being talked about, which can also lead to this being able to not actually critically think, being able to read past the headlines, which is something that a lot of people struggle to do.
Oh, actually, a very good example of the headline thing, sorry to interject here, to kind of tie it back into gaming, is the Nintendo. They recently just changed the prices of their digital lineup. They said that they're going to be separating the price of digital and physical releases. And everybody kind of took that to mean they're going to be increasing the prices of their physical lineup. But that's not what they did. They started decreasing the prices of their digital lineup.
Who I just explained this to somebody. I think it was Dub. I just explained this to Dub yesterday because he was like, "Oh, they about to raise the price." I said, "No."
No, I said plot twist. They could. I didn't say
no. Okay, well,
I was like they could. I didn't say they. I said
they
might.
said no.
That's a fair assumption to make.
Yeah.
In the age of fuckery is a possibility. In the age
of fuckery, that's what this is going to be known as.
The problem is that the journalistic outlets whose job it is to actually like report on facts just started with like running with the headline, Nintendo increases prices of physical releases. And if you're someone who, a lot of people just look at the headline, that's how they get their info. If you looked up like Nintendo gaming price changes, you just get like a whole wall of all of these different outlets saying Nintendo increases the price of their physical lineup. And it's like, that's actually just not what happened. that is factually incorrect. And so many people are now just going to believe that misinformation, even though like it just isn't what happened.
That's not what they said. Like even when I did a post on it, like I had the post from Nintendo, and it says like they're changing the MSRP of their digital is what they're saying. They're changing. They were gonna and it gave an example like Yoshi in the Mysterious Book or whatever it's called. They're gonna the physical will be 69 or whatever, and then the digital will be 59 or what something. It was a $10 price difference. And my thing is, if this goes well, which I'm assuming it will, but if this goes well, like I would love to see other companies, put this into play because I doubt it'll happen, but I would love to see other companies do this because the simple fact of for the longest of time, for somebody who I primarily buy digital games, and a lot of people that do digital games, you have that question: why are digital games the same price as physical when you're not creating a box or a disc? Is not being put on that, whatever the case may be.
Shipped out. But
correct.
You know what's crazy? My goofy ass never thought about that till you brought it up to me one day.
It's a good question. Like, why are we not, and listen, I mean, you got some, I think somebody may have been, I think it was in one of Afro Live. It may have been Zenetsu was trying to explain why it was somebody that was trying to explain why, well, you got to pay for this, you got to pay for that. But like, so you mean to telling me and my only thing is like, so you got to pay for all that, but so the distributing and all that, putting the stuff, sending that out, all that shipping, that's free? Because it can't be the same if you're just uploading it to, a site. Now, granted, I know that it has to go through a certain thing as far as like the testing and all that stuff for like certain platforms or whatever the case may be. I get that. I understand that. But all games have to go through that, regardless of it being digital or physical. But what you got to do?
Crazy thing that I'm thinking about it. Granted, this was 6 years ago. I'll never forget. I was trying to buy Final Fantasy VII remake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't a fan of buying digital at the time. It was $69 on the PlayStation Store, but I went in a Walmart and found that same game for like $44, brand new. So like it's kind of like to your point, like all the distribution, all the other shit, and like the digitals, it was brand new from Walmart, but it was still more expensive on the PlayStation Store.
And with that digital, aren't you paying for convenience? Like that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
you're just paying for the convenience, and
They're
that's why
trying to get you like
It's a
not
fuckboy
searching for deals. It's just easy to pick up the newest game. It's right there, right on your device. And because of that, they can kind of keep the prices homogenized. You know, they can say, okay, well, you know, every new game is just going to cost this much, and you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then as long as you aren't really thinking about, oh, I could have gone to Walmart and gotten it $20 off, then they're keeping the difference.
right. No, and I think that's you know, bringing it also like all the way around too with like these PlayStation prices. What worries me about it is that this is what we're going to see for the PlayStation 6. Because I want to know if how many people are actually going to go and start buying like a PlayStation 5 Pro when then they're just going to be like, oh, PS6, like is it going to be, you know, the 600, the one that's like the PlayStation 5 now, or is it going they're going to try to bump it up to something like 9 and push even more people out of that market?
I think that's why they're delaying the launch of the PS6, at least internally, because like despite being greedy, like all of these big companies are greedy, they still recognize that the best way to make money is you actually have to be able to sell units. And if the price is too high, then no one's going to buy it, especially at the launch of a console when they usually don't have that many exclusives. There's usually not like a reason to go out and buy it, especially if like for the most part right now the PS5 and the PS5 Pro just work pretty fine for playing like every game. And so people are just not going to buy the PS6 if it comes out next year, and the only difference is that it's like $1,000 and also stronger, and they know that. So they're trying to like ride out the wave, I guess. They're trying to bank on the AI bubble and maybe tariffs and maybe all these other things kind of becoming less of a factor in 3 or 4 years. And whether or not they're right is kind of going to determine how much they price it at. That's why the Steam machine got delayed too, because I bet they had a price internally. They probably had a whole plan for how everything was going to roll out, and then they're like, oh shit, everything's way more expensive to build now. We can't price it like this anymore, and we know that that's going to be bad PR if we release it and the price is like $800. People are going to freak out.
And that's what I was going to say. That's what I was saying. That's been my whole point about the Steam machine. People were like, oh, I like it looks cool. I think it could be a cool device. However, it all depends on what the price is, because it's a console. If you want to compete in the console market and, you know, have people like, granted, you know, have people introduced to your system, people who don't have Steam account, people who don't have access to Steam. Granted, you're going to have people who have Steam already. They're going to probably pick that device up. But for the new people that you want to bring into your ecosystem, you want this price to be competitive with everything else that's out there, whether it be the Xbox, whether it be the PlayStation, whether it be the Switch. You still want your device to be able to be competitive in that market. And if you come out and you drop it and it's $800 for one, because I think they were doing two different SKUs. If one is $700, which is a less powerful, or the one that has a less amount of memory, and then the other one is $900 or whatever case may be, people are going to look at it like, okay, that's cool. And then of course you always going to have and for the life of me, these people, they don't bother me, but it really just it grinds my gears when you make a comment or you're talking about something concerning, like the post I made yesterday about PlayStation raising their prices or whatever the console. Of course, somebody has to come on there. See, this is why you should have just built the PC. Bruh, stop it. Stop. I cannot stand when y'all PC people do this, because it's like, one, I get it. PCs are cool. You can do all that. Everybody does not want a PC. Everybody. I don't have the
space for a PC.
I will say, people don't have the space. Some people can't afford it, whatever the case may be. Why you don't? Why do you have to comment this on every post? Somebody's even we're complaining about a console or whatever the case may be. I get it. People are allowed to complain about, you know, especially when it comes to price and stuff like this. I don't need you coming on here. You should have just built the PC. A PC, bruh, chill out. I can't stand that.
Have you never heard about our Lord and Savior PC?
Yeah, come on, man.
That's exactly what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like.
It's crazy too, because if there's CPU shortages and GPU shortages and RAM shortages, does that not mean that the price of PCs is also going to go up?
Case in point, my homegirl Phyllis, she had to upgrade her RAM or GPU. Bro, it was like she was looking at different like RAM GPUs, like the more new ones, they were like $5,000.
Yeah.
She had to go with like a something 4,000. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was like a 4,000 model that was cheaper that she had to buy because the more recent one was like $5,000.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, no, I'm not spending
and it's
$5
probably going to
bands.
go up in price again. I think with the PlayStation price hikes, and I firmly believe this, they stocked up on PS5s early to try and avoid having to raise their prices, because it's horrible PR, and especially when you're trying to make all your stuff exclusive, kind of barring people from getting into that ecosystem by raising the prices is just a bad move. But when it comes to companies of like Sony's size, oftentimes the people, making the games or marketing the games, they don't have a say over how much they're going to charge for things. That's like the higher ups who get to decide that. And the higher ups, even if they're selling the consoles at a loss, they're not going to be selling them at that much of a loss, because that just looks bad on a balance sheet. It's going to look really bad. It's like, oh yeah, we sold 10 million consoles this quarter and we also lost a ton of money doing it. They're never going to do that. And so as things get more expensive to make, they're just going to raise the prices, and it's not going to be a Sony localized thing. It's going to happen with Xbox, it's going to happen with Nintendo, it's going to happen on PC. And like, as of right now, at least, it doesn't look like it's going to be slowing down, which is the really hard thing to pay attention to.
To your point, Nintendo raised the prices on almost everything at launch. Like Joy-Cons, I think Joy-Cons were supposed to drop at $79. I think if I remember right, a Joy-Con says like $99 now USD.
Xbox, I thought, was doing that too, weren't they? With the controllers and stuff, they bumped them up.
They didn't. The controllers didn't go. Just I think the system. I don't think the controllers went up, but the system. The system went up. The actual system itself went up, but the controllers, I think, are still the same price. I know PlayStation raised the price of their controllers, I think, last year. Certain ones,
which was weird because the different colorways had different prices. Like
different colorways have different prices. But like I said, in my video yesterday, again. But I've been talking about this since last year. I said they were waiting till after Christmas to do it. But I said I probably said on a couple of our pods as well that the PS5 and the Switch 2 were both going to go up in price. It's just they were waiting till after Christmas to get those holiday sales. And once they got those holiday sales, starting 2026 or in 2020, sometime they were going to raise the price. And the PlayStation was right there. And I just saw something earlier that PlayStation Plus could also be going up.
I'm not surprised.
That's the marketing battle all these companies are in right now. They have to. They know they're going to have to raise prices, but they're trying to do so in a way that makes the other companies look worse doing the exact same thing, right? So like none of them want to raise it around the release of their biggest games, because then it's going to sour like the marketing. So they're not going to raise the prices around like Wolverine or something coming out, but they still have to. So they're like, okay, we'll just like do it now, kind of like in the off season. We'll do it right before the summertime, and then hopefully by Wolverine and like Christmas time, people have kind of forgotten about it, and they're kind of playing a game of chicken, because the first one to raise the prices always looks the worst. They look like they're setting the trend and everybody else is just following them, but like internally they all know they have to raise the prices, but audience members don't pay attention to that. I think actually I got a comment of someone saying like gamers don't think more than one step ahead. They only think in immediate effects. So like thinking 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of, okay, how will this affect all of these things down the line? What are these companies planning? Because like a big company like Sony or Nintendo, they don't make decisions right away. These are slow moving companies who have to get a whole bunch of approvals and do meetings and all these things, so that when you see a decision being made, it was approved months ago.
Well, knowing that was probably a frustrating thing too, because it's like the fact, like you mentioned earlier, with all the data centers and stuff, and now we're fighting with these tech companies for the same kind of equipment, And so now it's going to be even more difficult for them. So they're at a point where it's like, it's a frustrating, like, we have to raise it. We're not happy that we have to raise the prices. And like you mentioned, gamers barely even think one step ahead.
They don't. They absolutely don't, man. And and I get, once again, case in point, we were talking about this before we started about just you sitting on the sidelines and not or sitting on the fence, not saying nothing, not going either which way, because like a lot of these things, like Hydra just said, they put these stuff, it has to get approved, has to go through all those motions, had to go, go through all of that. A lot of this stuff. That's why it really pissed me off a few months ago after when Sarah Bond left Xbox and they came out with this thing of, well, she started this and she started that, and people were like, see, I knew I didn't such and such. And my whole point was, y'all really sitting up here believing that this one woman, this one black woman made all these decisions and the rest of these folks just said okay and went with it? You mean to tell me it didn't have to be approved by Phil Spencer? It didn't have to be approved by Satya Nadal. It didn't have to be approved by Amy Hood. It didn't have to be approved by the shareholders. Everything she said was gold, and they went, and it was the law, and it was automatically done. No, they're just blaming this on her. And I'm pretty sure she had to sign an NDA or something, so she didn't make any comments on it and stuff like that. She probably can't because she probably had to sign something saying. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure in 5 to 7 years, or whenever it expires, we're gonna get a story or we're gonna have an interview with her talking about her time at Microsoft and what happened, because clearly it wasn't just her, and it pisses me off that folks just sit up here and once again go with what's being told and not actually thinking about if this is actual facts. And the same thing of even with Xbox, even when they were doing the when they were purchasing Activision, and granted, I was like, all right, cool, they're getting Activision, things like that. But I mentioned it a few times, like the only thing about this is on the end we could see some prices and stuff going up. Those going to change because of their purchasing this, and this is going to have an effect because, granted, it's bringing in a lot of money, but they're also spending a lot of money to get this done. So it's going to change some things going forward, and we've seen those changes play out over the past 2 to 3 years, where it started with the 4 games. Now it's everything goes everywhere basically.
Well, and you made a really good point there too, where it's just and this is what 2026 has been the year I've been like preaching heavily, is that gamers don't know. A lot of gamers don't know the industry. Mm-mm. They don't know the industry and they don't know the business, but the business is a lot about them. And so they're okay with the fact of someone like Sarah Bond kind of letting her take the fall for it, because they know that gamers will just start hounding on her, not even be like, okay, then we'll kind of just do what we need to do on the side. Businesses like to have a fall guy if possible.
Yeah.
Or they can make themselves look good. But like I've said this a lot, and I think every time I hear stuff like this, it always just holds true. They don't know jack shit about what's going on. They don't care to know what's going on.
Listen.
Yeah.
They don't, and that's for the life of me, because I got a video I'm working on now about asking why do people hate live service. You have so many people that like, oh, I hate live service, or live service slop, or we're tired of live service games. You go look at the most played games. You go look at the most like bought games, or games that made the most money, whatever. At every year, even current, like if you want to go look on Steam, you want to go out of the top 10, maybe 6 or 7 of those games are live service type of games. And it's like y'all say y'all don't like live service games, but
somebody playing the final.
Correct.
Yeah,
somebody's playing these games. Somebody's spending money on these games. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but the actions and the financials, the money proves otherwise. Live services is there. This is why we keep getting live service type of games, because these companies see how much money these games could possibly make year in year.
Yeah, agreed. And when those services, when they hit, they're gold mines.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
and that's the thing.
They just print
It's
money.
base. I think it's the equivalent to me of swinging for the fences when you do something like the live service games. You
Do
know,
you think all of them have an end date though? Because you saw Fortnite look like it's on you know what I'm saying? So like, do you think all live service games has a?
not really, not unless they start seriously losing something, or they're like they feel a need, like Destiny 2, or like Overwatch, where Overwatch tried doing Overwatch 2, then just went back to Overwatch. But like until we get something like that, then no, there's no reason to have that to have the end date, and that's the best part of them for a lot of people. Like for Fortnite, for people who've probably been playing Fortnite for years, they don't have an end date in sight. That thing makes money like crazy. We don't even worry about Facebook famous anymore. It's Fortnite famous. Like it's Fortnite famous. If you make it into Fortnite, like you know you made it.
Like think about it. Like Fortnite kind of became the new age Minecraft when it came out in terms of content creation. Like you have entire sub ecosystems of content creators who are entirely just focused on Fortnite and Fortnite expansions and Fortnite updates and everything about Fortnite and Fortnite collaborations, and like that's like the most successful part of YouTube. that like Fortnite is such an absurdly successful game. I remember when they hit their all-time player count peak, and it wasn't even like a big event. It was just like some random Tuesday. They just had like 4 million concurrent players or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. People are still playing it. So like, I think definitely we need to have a conversation about live service games and like where they fit. And maybe if every company chasing after live service games is ideal, because, you know, there's only so much time in the day for people to play games. But they certainly do have a place. And I think having them as constant competition does incentivize other companies to try and make their games better, because it's like they need to pull people away from Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
They need to pull people away from all these, like from Roblox or something. And they have to think about how to do that.
Yeah, and see that's it. And like I said, I am of the mind that live service there's a place for live service games. Just like I'm of the mindset of there's a place for microtransactions. Because I I'm not one of those people that automatically say all microtransactions are bad. Now, granted, there are some that are bad. I don't like loot boxes, stuff like that.
WWE, we talking about you.
Correct. Yeah. So, but it's once again, there's a place for that. You know what I'm saying? Like Hydra just mentioned, we don't need every gaming developer trying to put out a live service game. You know what I'm saying? Now I get it. You want to try to make something.
Every stage of period.
I gotta know which stage of mine was considered the final stage. That's why I gotta know.
Lord.
I gotta know which stage I am.
That is hilarious.
All the Pokemon evolutions.
But we don't need it. We don't need every company trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you're gonna have your ones that try. If you do try it, and it fails or it doesn't work out, be able to move on. My only thing is, let's not invest. We need to find a way to do them where you're not investing millions and millions of dollars of a game, and then that game fails, and then not only do we have to, the game goes away, the studio gets shut down, developers lose their job. We've seen that. Concord, then most recently High Guard. Like, we've seen that where they invest all this stuff in there, and all of a sudden it gets shut down, and then people lose their jobs, studio closes, and things like that. And it's just, you know what I'm saying? We got to find a way there needs to be a balance in it, because it's some things, both of those two games, some things I could really point out they probably could have did a little differently. But but like you said, there's ways to do it to where you're not overly extending yourselves, because we've seen it too many times where studios get closed down. Like I was just telling Dub the other day, I know people love to throw out there the studios that Xbox closed down, but like just this PS5 generation, Sony has closed down 5 studios. Yeah. With one just recently happening, I think last week. Like these studios are getting closed down. Ubisoft is in disarray because they can't make up their mind about what they want to do or what the direction they're going in with certain games. They've canceled a bunch of games. One game I was looking forward to, which is a Splinter Cell remake, which we're not getting anytime soon. But like it's so much out there, man, and we're losing a lot especially with these gaming companies. Just
you lose recipes.
Facts.
Well, no, you do. You lose creative ideas. You lose. I mean,
absolutely.
Lose so much, and what bothers me the most, I think, about it is the fact of, and this is from like as a gamer, you know, I mean, as a gamer and the one who sees the gaming content, I can't stand watching people be happy for this. I hate it. I hate it. Over and over, we see people like when it came to High Guard. I mean, it isn't even before High Guard, but like High Guard, games like Marathon, like they're begging for the fail of studios in order to validate what you already your preconceived notions.
It makes them feel powerful. It makes us feel like, hey, my decision influenced this.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of annoying sometimes because you'll see a campaign against a game, right? And the game has done nothing wrong aside from just like exist and be a game that some people don't like.
South of Midnight.
Yeah, and or exist and have black people, and that pisses off a whole bunch of gamers. And the problem is that like they are underestimating. I think the problem is that the average gamer does not know how hard it is to make a game.
They don't.
Making a game, even a functional game, like not even good, just like a game that works, is incredibly hard. And as you add more people to that game making process, it doesn't necessarily become easier because focusing on the ideas between all those different people becomes a new challenge. When you see a studio that has like hundreds or sometimes even thousands of people working on a game, it's a miracle that something comes out of that. And so when a game flops or a studio goes under and then all these people get laid off and I see people celebrating, like they don't understand how many talented people we are losing in the industry as a result of this, right? When teams are formed and they form a bond and they're used to working together, they know the engine, they know the tech, that is incredibly important, like to the industry to have people with that knowledge. And if they don't get to reach some level of like seniority and then pass down that knowledge to new people, we're not only losing the people who make the games, but also future people who could have learned from them how to make games. If everybody's a new hire, then like who's teaching? Who's
the experience? And to your point, I know two people who've been affected by gaming layoffs, and they got one of my old roommate in college. I didn't know he was out here in California. He was in San Diego with like Activision or something like that. And when Xbox took over Activision, he got let go. He said he could not find his foot back in the door since. Another buddy of mine, I'm not going to say his name because I don't know if he wants his business out there. He was in the gaming industry, making promotions, doing well. His studio, they were dissolving the studio or something like that. He was telling me he couldn't even find regular work because people were like, oh, you're overqualified. You're going to find something better and leave. And he couldn't find nothing in the gaming industry because like everything's tight knit. And I think that's so it's kind of sad when
I think about like okay, I think one of the most tragic ones is Tango Gameworks. I know they've kind of been picked up recently, but the story of how like they release a game. The game is good. The game is really good, like award-winning good. They release Hi-Fi Rush, and people love it. It's getting all these nominations, and then even like sales-wise, Xbox is saying, yeah, we love how much this game is selling. We love that it's winning awards. We're gonna close the studio though. What? So they close the studio, and then now all these like talented people who did a good job, mind you, are getting let go. And what message does that send morale wise to everybody else that's under Xbox, right? And the same thing could be applied to Sony, right? Like what's stopping them from putting you on a project, you doing a good job, and then they're like, but it wasn't like Activision
wasn't good enough. And i.e. Battlefield 6 was one of the best selling, if not the best selling game last year.
Yes,
hundreds of people just lost their jobs over at EA because of whatever reason. Like the best selling game of last year and your company is laying off people. Like what? So
it
even
does
if I
feel really it feels so off. Like
yes,
like the logic doesn't make, and I think maybe and that's why I try to give some grasp, to potentially maybe there's something that we're obviously we're not seeing in this, but the logic is not holding up. If you're making this much money, then you lay off a bunch of people, and I will say maybe some of them are freelancers. So if we talk about like if when they have that crunch time, right, when they bring in all the people in.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be freelancers that are already like, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but it's just something that seems like that, where it's like if you bring in a bunch of freelancers who are already just kind of doing their own thing, eventually like, okay, well, we're gonna lay you guys off now because like that we were had you only in here for so long. I don't know if that's true. Like I don't know nothing about that, but like that could be a thing.
The problem is that like I think honestly COVID lockdowns had a huge impact on this. When everybody was inside, a lot of game sales got inflated. I think of games like Animal Crossing New Horizons where people were buying more games because they had more time to play games, and the industry essentially went, oh, this line will keep going up, we should hire a lot more people. And a bunch of these companies, they overhired, and in 2023 and 2024 especially, there were like thousands upon thousands of layoffs because it was a direct response to that of, well, the line didn't keep going up. And even though and I'm not even giving these companies an excuse, they should have known that a global pandemic which isn't permanent would not result in permanent growth. Right? That's on them for overhiring there. But as a result of overhiring, every single project wasn't doing infinitely higher numbers, and so they keep letting people go, and it's slowed down now, even though we're still getting mass layoffs. But like 2023 and 2024 were like abysmal for layoffs. There's so many people were losing their jobs in the gaming industry, and like you guys were saying earlier, some of them found their way back, but a lot of them didn't. A lot of them never returned to the game industry, and that is like a loss for all of us.
Yeah, and also another big part of that is somebody, I think Polo just mentioned it, but we talked about it. The shareholders, the stockholders, these PD CEOs. You got the people below, once again, doing all the work, doing all this, developing the games, and they're getting laid off. But these CEOs and they're not taking pay cuts. Like they're like, so it's like you're letting the talent go, but you're keeping the person up here. So essentially, what's going to happen is you've let all the talent go, so you're going to start really producing or putting out shit games or games people don't really like, and it's just going to cause the studio over and over to get, eventually maybe get closed with it because you're mismanaging. Like you know what I'm saying? You're keeping this guy up here, but all the people that actually put in the work, that develop the games, that write the games, that do the stories, all of this, that know the actual work, the talent, you're letting them go. And like I think Dub just said it, we're losing the recipes. You're letting all the recipes go, but you're, what I'm saying, all the people that know how to cook, you're letting them go. But you're keeping this guy up here because he's the manager of the restaurant. And it's like, but essentially.
And he never worked in the kitchen.
Correct. He never worked in the kitchen.
But I think also isn't that part of the issue though? Is like at the end of the day, this business is in to make money, and if that person who doesn't matter who they cut, he's still pulling in the numbers they bring. They're gonna keep that person. I think my issue that comes into it happened. It happened a lot in 2022. I think when one of Sony's execs was talking about like all the cars that he's got because of these like price bumps, and that set like a whole precedent at that point. Like that just kind of, I think, and it's something that I don't think gamers thought about at the time, but it really just exposed how devs, or not devs, the CEO felt so out of touch, or the exec felt so out of touch with what was going on. And I believe that like one of the big issues is that we don't have this. I mean, I don't like there's a business, they don't have to tell you everything, but it's nice to get some sort of transparency to see, hey, what does go on with the gaming industry? You know what I mean? Like when you guys do have these cuts, what gets said? I had a dude who was yesterday, the day before, he was a community manager for multiple different games and stuff like that. And so we had some questions talking to him. If I get a chance, I'll bring him in one day. But it was interesting from his perspective, but it feels like there's just so much that we just don't know. And as a person, yeah, it sucks when I hear people get laid off. It also sucks when I see a game get trounced and not even getting a chance to succeed.
Yeah.
Like there is a bit of this gamer accountability, which is always like that, you know, hey, be open-minded to try to some of these games. And if you don't like it, that's cool. That's not on you. But like, especially by new devs who are trying to work their way into this space.
I think a good example, kind of what Polar was talking about as well. I'll use Capcom as an example here. I love Capcom games. You know, this year especially, Resident Evil 9, Monster Hunter Stories 3, and then Pragmata next month. They're kind of on a roll, but it's so obvious how wormed in the accounting guys are, or the suits. You know, where you'll see a game like Resident Evil 4 remake or Devil May Cry 5, they'll come out and it's like a phenomenal game, best in class, one of the best you'll ever see. Also, here's a bunch of microtransactions for some random currency that we added that you can use to buy a bunch of other things. And it's even in like Dragon's Dogma 2 and Monster Hunter, like it's so obvious that these developers are being told to add monetizable elements to their games, and they try their best to make it useless. They try their best to make it like a non-important part of the game, but it's always there. And I think it reached a boiling point with Street Fighter 6, the Capcom World Tour, where they had a pay-per-view model for watching it for the first time ever this year.
A pay-per-view model?
Yeah, so if you wanted to watch the Capcom Cup, you had to pay money. And the problem is that this came as a surprise to the people organizing Capcom Cup and the Street Fighter 6 developers. Like, they found out at the same time as us that suddenly their tournament was going to be monetized to be viewable. I remember, like, there were some Street Fighter 6 devs on Twitter who were like, I have no idea what's happening. and it's the fact that, like, the suits can essentially go over the heads of the developers, even, like, the lead developers of a game, and say, you know, you have this creative vision, sure, you made a good game, sure, it even sold really well. You know, Resident Evil 9 was one of the fastest selling Resident Evil game. Monster Hunter Wilds, fastest selling Monster Hunter game. But you have to do this because we said so. And you're like, we're getting worse games as a result, and it's going against the wishes of the developers.
Yeah.
In such stupid ways. I can't stop thinking about it. Monster Hunter Wilds released earlier than it should have, simply because Capcom wanted to reach their quota for like this quarter or whatever. And the game suffered as a result. The first impressions suffered because it came out and it was missing some features, and it wasn't like the performance of the game wasn't as good. And it's like the devs knew this. They stopped saying happy hunting in their
I've noticed that.
Yeah, their Monster Hunter showcases. Because they genuinely weren't having a good time talking about this game. They knew that the fans were disappointed, and they knew it was being blamed on them. But like it wasn't their fault. They were forced to put out a product earlier than it should have been released, simply because some suits wanted to have a better balance sheet at the end of the quarter. I'm like, what are we doing?
And this is why I take offense when you have so many peasants, common folk, talking about devs are lazy or devs this and that, because 9 times out of 10, hell, just about 10 times out of 10, it is not the devs' fault.
Yeah.
Like, even if a game, you know what I'm saying, you're going to have some stuff, you know, if a game comes out and something is messed up in the game, you know, I get it. Something like that happens that may not got the right amount of testing. However, the dev still is not, it's still, you know what I'm saying, they could have coded this and whatever the release came out, it could have been, something could have been messed up. However, you talking about, you know, devs are lazy, devs are this. Bro, why do you even know what a developer does? Do you even know? Could you do this? You calling them lazy? Do you know what they do? Could you go and do this? No, you can't. So shut up.
And it's like going into imagine going into a restaurant. You have a chef in there who's been doing it for a long time. And then like the manager walks in and is like, actually, you need to add more paprika to that salad. And it's like, well, there's no thing. But we want it. It's fine. Like it'll be great. And then you as a dev, you have to basically send that out. And then they're the ones who get flamed for it. And like, I think these people, the devs a lot of times feel like shields for the people who are actually making more of these monetary decisions.
Yep.
you know. And so like it's unfortunate because, as you know, I love talking to devs, and I'll still straight out was I will defend devs, no, like hands down, before I start saying, hey, there's an issue with whatever. And you know, the thing I get is like, well, you telling me all devs are not lazy? I don't know. I haven't met one that is.
Yeah, because the game works, right? Like, by the time the game comes out, if you can play it, they weren't lazy.
And that,
It is so much work to make a game.
as someone who's I got my full stack coding certification. If even one single, not even a whole line, if one little piece of code is off, whether it be a colon, that will fuck up a whole lot of shit. You understand me? Mm-hmm. So trying to tell me or trying to say that devs are lazy because this part doesn't work, bro, that could easily have been put in, and one little piece could be off, and that could be causing issue or whatever the case may be, man. Like, I don't understand, like, when we get so upset about all of the devs and this, like I said, the devs did. No, like, it could easily be fixed. And granted, people love talking about, oh, I remember back in the old days, games were this, games were that. No, they weren't. You're being fooled by your nostalgia. We had broken games back in the day. We had game-breaking bugs back in the day. We had all of that. It's just now.
I fucking hate nostalgia gamers, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I can't do it.
Listen, it's just now we can get patched. Listen, I feel you, Afro. I hate that as well because, like, listen, I look at nostalgia. It can be bittersweet. Granted, there was some stuff I do love back in the day, but there are also some stuff from back in the day I hate. When a game, like I just pointed out, when a game came out and there was a bug, unless they decided to redo that game and print out fresh versions, if you already bought the game, you were messed. It's it. That's all you got. You had to deal with it. You had to deal with it. Correct. You were fucked. But nowadays, if there's an issue with the game, guess what? They have the ability to fix it and patch it so that it no longer keeps happening, man. And it's like, why is that not
giving us stuff? Like, look at Spider-Man 2. I you know, despite the debacle of Spider-Man 2's DLC, one of the things I did love, and I think they did it with the first one too, is they just, hey, we got new suits and stuff like that. We're excited to show you guys. And like, it's that little stuff that they can do now that they, like, beforehand they'd be like, well, I guess we'll put it in the second or third game, maybe.
Correct.
We can get to it. Like, I think what gets me about this, like, it leads to that whole the no good games anymore statement.
That dumbass conversation.
The no good games anymore. Otherwise, the acronym is just nigga. But like, it's
wow, I never thought about it like that. Let's go.
Well, you better than me because I always just call them coon gamers because it's always the motherfuckers who just playing Madden, 2K, and Call of Duty.
But it's also the ones before too that played, you know, they were playing, like, let's say like a Batman game or something way back, and nothing is as good as Batman was. And I was like, well, I don't really have other games to compare it to besides Batman.
I think also, like, people love to say that developers don't play games, or developers aren't fans of games. They hate gaming as a whole. That's why games have got worse. I think this is how developers end up getting blamed for this stuff instead of, like, the suits who make the decisions, because a lot of the developers, like, they're at the conventions, they're at these things talking about their game because they're excited about it, but because they are the more forward facing part of the industry, they also get the blame, even though some executive who's, like, doesn't care, never shows up to any of this stuff, is not talking about their game, is the one who made the decision about the game. They're off somewhere on, like, a vacation with their eighth car.
I mean, Zenitsu said it best. Like, he's like, we're in TikTok. We're in, you know, we're playing games just like you guys are. You know, we're in, like, the Twitch streams. We're listening to all that kind of stuff. And it's the same thing, you know, it's the same thing too. I'm sure Husky's had it. I've had multiple devs show up in lives. Like, go and they have a chance to go sit and talk. Like I mentioned, I had a community manager in before. Black Zenitsu jumps in all the time. I get other devs and stuff that come in too that want to sit there and actually and talk and discuss and stuff because they are passionate about what they're doing. I think if you're gonna go and try to say that someone's not passionate about what they're doing, you need to fucking social goddamn proof. Like if you're gonna tell me I'm not passionate about something, you got to prove that. You can't just make a statement like that and then walk off and be like, well, that's just my opinion. Fuck your opinion.
I mean, especially in the gaming industry where like they oftentimes have really bad working conditions. Like they take like horrible hours. They take all these time to like make games. They put blood, sweat, and tears into it. They get made fun of by like general audiences. And they just kind of bear with all of that because they know they're making a game that they want to make. Like they're in the gaming industry that they've always wanted to be in. Yeah. And you know, the suits, they exploit that, of course. They like, you look at Rockstar or something, they're making people crunch to get GTA 6 out, and it's like it's because they get to work on a game that they love to work on. It's an industry that is fueled entirely by passion, and to pretend otherwise is to just ignore what we're seeing around us.
And just to your point of like the developers, you know, the developers aren't passionate and stuff like that. It's like you got to think about a lot of these developers nowadays grew up playing all those older games that you love, that you tout about and brag about, and all. They grew up playing those games. So to say developers don't play games or don't have a passion, a lot of those developers got into gaming because of games like the original Final Fantasy, you know, from back in the day. Whatever you name those older games, a lot of them got into development because they loved that, and that inspired them to want to create stories similar to that or create worlds and stuff like that. They got into that because of their love for this. Go ahead. No, I'm just saying, and to disrespect them by saying they're not passionate or they're lazy is just asinine. Like, it once again, it makes me realize how little you actually know about gaming other than holding a damn controller.
And then another thought process you think about, if they're not passionate, it's because they're fear their damn jobs. I'm supposed to be passionate about something. I'm going to work here in another month or so. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be passionate when you're worried about some shit.
Correct. That's another man.
Like,
and
if you see the department next to you. Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, go. I was like, I'm saying, like, then you got fucking Troy from Illinois who just sitting there being like, bro, this game just fucking sucks, man. Like, these guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like,
bro, it's an anime called Let's Play, and it's about a game developer, her making games. If y'all haven't watched, it's like a slice of life. Y'all should check it out. It's kind of like centered around this whole topic.
Oh, I can imagine.
And like, to kind of tie back into this year, I guess we saw a lot of this talk with Highguard. Kind of one of the first things that people did when they tried to discredit the game was say that the developers, you know, they're not gamers. They don't know what gaming is. And I always find that rhetoric really funny because it, like, people have to create the us versus them mentality before they criticize a game. There are things to criticize about Highguard, right? There's a reason why a lot of people bounced off of it. Some of the performance things, some of the structure of how you would play a match. Those are all things you can criticize, but people weren't able to just do that. They had to make it into like, oh, the devs suck. Oh, it's us versus them. They hate gamers, and that's why they made this game. You think they hate gaming, and that's why they got into gaming? Like, there are many more lucrative ways to use coding in today's day and age than making video games.
Correct. And it's like, oh man, they just Highguard is this or Highguard is that, or what was the one of my ones I hated was the I can't remember. It was something like some people were saying about how Highguard. It was one thing they were kind of pointing to, but it was like my thing of it is Highguard received one. This is probably the most hated thing, most hated video game I've ever seen in my life, where it came to a point during the Game Awards, like within a minute or within 30 seconds of the trailer, hell, probably during the trailer, the internet was flooded of just hate for this game out of nowhere. It was flooded, like it was just unnecessary hate for this game. Like I said, I do think there were things that could have been different, that Highguard should have did differently. My personal thing was, why are we releasing the game without a beta? or without a play test.
Yeah.
Do a play test. That way people can play it, and then you can take that feedback that you got, the good, actual constructive criticism, the actual good feedback, not from these idiots out here just spewing whatever. Take the actual feedback and then maybe make some improvements and then release the game. That was one of my big things. Like, man, this could have been not could have been avoided, but it could have been helped had they did something like that. Because as soon as the game, like before it even dropped, and then when it dropped, one of the developers came out and said it had like 14,000 negative reviews with, and most of those views had 45 minutes to under an hour of gameplay.
Yeah. Especially because there were server issues, because so many people were trying to play the game to make fun of it at launch, where like you maybe played the tutorial in that time, you maybe played one match. Like there's no possible way where that's constructive or in any way meant to like help anyone. It's just you wanting to shout at the developers, and that's kind of like the excuse, right? A lot of people got into the game because it was the final game at the Game Awards. People were disappointed by that. That's also something fair. I have criticized Jeff Keighley for putting that game in that position, especially when you had many like really big announcements during the show. People had their expectations up. You mentioned Titanfall by name, and then they announced Highguard, and like that kind of set the game up to fail. It disappointed the audience, but then at the same time, it's not the developer's fault.
No.
They just made a game. It's not their fault that like a Divinity announcement also happened and then they also got put into the final slot, especially as we learned more that like Jeff kind of gave them that slot. He kind of slotted them in there. It's not like they spent the however much money to get an ad slot at the Game Awards and they were trying to put it there, which makes it even less their fault.
Yeah, and I was just gonna, to your point of that whole thing of people get the misconception of when somebody says these were developers of such and such. Because I saw another thing, people, well, why didn't they just give us Titanfall 3? Do you understand? They don't own a damn IP, you fucking idiot.
Not the same guys.
Dude.
Why do you you saw that? I put those lives up where I had like gamers don't deserve Titanfall 3. And I put a statement up on there on purpose because one, I knew it's gonna attract people, let's be honest, but I also know for a fact that like I shouldn't say no for a fact, but I also put it up there because of the fact that the way that they handled during the Highguard situation or during Marathon, during Crimson Death, I'm like, nobody even wanted, like, why would I even want to make Titanfall 3 so you can go fucking yell at me for shit that I didn't fucking do?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Titanfall 2 flopped, right?
yeah, exactly. And so like it's like when we see games, I mean, they're even to the point where they're calling these games like, I think I said it in the chat thing, Concord like.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are still they got, I don't know, that it's crazy for a game that they fucking hate. They can't take that game's dick out of their mouth.
Yeah,
when it comes to Concord, like it's crazy. Like how many times they will sit there and just be like, but look at Concord, and it's like, look at it failed. I'm like, yeah, the game that really probably should have been a free to play. Was set for $40 in a saturated market with already super established fucking other IPs, and at least to me, from like an aesthetic standpoint, didn't really do enough to stand out. Like,
I think the reason why they call things Concord likes, and this is the annoying part, is that a lot of gamers really love to see games fail, regardless of what the game is. Like, you can talk about Marathon and how, you know, it appeals to a more niche audience, you know, extraction shooter fans. But for that group of people, it's awesome. This game has like really positive reviews on Steam of people who play the game. You go to Metacritic, where you don't need proof to say you play the game, it's sitting at like a 4 out of 10 on the user score, because a lot of people were just like, this is Bungie, we hate Bungie, 4 out of 10. Or Crimson Desert, when people were talking about the game and they were like, it's either going to be the biggest game ever or it's going to be a flop, right? They can't just handle a game coming out doing pretty good, like I won't say like it's the best selling game ever, but it, you know, 200,000 concurrent players, that's a really good number, selling really well. People who like this type of action sandbox are enjoying themselves, but it's not a masterpiece or a flop. It's not that kind of news.
It's a good game. It's a good game. And people have to, and that's why I dislike the word mid and meaty. Like, good doesn't necessarily mean mid. But people love to say, oh man, it's just a mid game. Just say it's a good game, bro. We don't. Every game doesn't need to be outstanding, amazing. Every game is not a shit show. We can have just good games and that be okay. That I don't need every game to be a game of the year nominee. I just need it to be a good game, something fun for me to enjoy and play, which is what game's supposed to be about.
And
Post about 2K every year, and they ain't changed shit in the last 3-4 years.
No, exactly. And I think too that's someone, I think it was Measy who said it, but like right now gamers are a victim of success because there have been so many good solid games that have just come through that we are right now at this point where he's like like the standards are just ridiculously over the top all the time. Every game, it's like if every game isn't an Expedition 33, then it's a mid title, which we know one isn't true, and two, obviously I don't think companies did themselves any favor when I forgot what company it was, when I think it was Baldur's Gate 3, and they're like, yeah, we can't make a game that is as good as that. So actually, in some regards, the developer kind of shot themselves in the foot, which actually kind of hurt the company as well.
I actually have a kind of funny story about that. That is an example of people needing success to mean failure. Because when a lot of gamers see a successful game, they don't automatically go, wow, this game is really good. I'm so glad we got this game to play. They go, this game is really good. And that, you know what, that shove it in the face of all the other developers who can't make good games. Yeah, take that, every other developer. You didn't make Baldur's Gate 3. And I think that the statement made about Baldur's Gate 3 was relatively tame. I forget which developer it was. It might have been a journalist even, where they said, like, Baldur's Gate 3 had some very ideal development standards. They had essentially infinite time because they had a very understanding audience. They had early access. They had an early access where journalists were willing to come back in multiple times to keep re-reviewing the game at every single stage of growth. So they got really good feedback. They had access to the Dungeons and Dragons IP as well as the Baldur's Gate IP, which are pretty established as like all-timers. And they were able to take their time, make the game that they want, which, most developers just don't have any of that leniency. They have deadlines, they don't have IPs, they have crunch. And so Baldur's Gate 3 coming out should have been used as a way of saying, this is the development standards we should be giving to our AAA studios, to our golden gooses or golden geese. If we know they're going to be able to put out phenomenal titles with time, we should be giving them the time and resources to do that. But it kind of got turned around into a message of, see, every other game is afraid of Baldur's Gate 3 because, they're so good and everyone else sucks. And that's not what was being said.
Correct. And so many people didn't realize Baldur's Gate 3 people had been playing Baldur's Gate 3 for a few years or a couple of years before it actually released. Like, people didn't understand that. People didn't understand they were getting feedback on their game the entire time. So they could, they can implement that feedback, make fixes, corrections, stuff like that to make the game more enjoyable. People didn't understand that.
It was really 3 years.
Correct. And I remember people when the game dropped or whatever. I remember seeing a few people online time when they had been playing it already for so many years because they were in the testing, they were helping with doing all this stuff. It's like people were playing this game already. They had ample opportunity to give feedback on this game and get stuff like that. Not saying that every game needs that, but at the same time, that is an amazing way of doing it, especially when you're getting feedback from people outside of your normal sphere. Like you said, like Doug pointed out, where a lot of these companies, you have certain testers or you got certain people that maybe they're in there and they're just trying to, do and help to push the game along, but they're not testing everything. They're not getting all the feedback they need to get to be given or whatever the case may be. Like, you have to get, like, it'll be amazing if every game, big game did that or company did that, where we've been worked on for 3 years and we got so many people playing the store. We got people outside of the company, different people working at game sites, stuff like that. So you're getting that feedback from those type of things to make those corrections and fixes or whatever the case may be, man. But I agree. Every game does need, they need that type of time. They need to be away from crunch. You need to be away. And it goes into the point of maybe we shouldn't show game. You know, like I said, at these showcases, have games shown so early, stuff like that, and start putting release date on certain things.
Ultra
Bethesda.
Scroll 6.
Mega Man Override Duel.
Like it's maybe, you know, something like that should be implemented, but it's there is so much that, you know, we can do to be fixed. Like you mentioned with Concord, Afro, I agree with you 100%. Concord should have been a free-to-play game.
Mm-hmm.
Concord should have been, with the competition that was out there. Like I said, I compare it to free chicken. You got free chicken with Overwatch and Marvel Rivals right here, and then you come around and you want to charge me for this chicken? When especially this chicken, I don't think this chicken is as good as that free chicken. I'm gonna take the free chicken.
Well, and I also said when it came to Concord, which is the same with High Guard, I like the characters and I like designs. I like some of the world aspects of it. Don't give up on that universe. Please do not give up on that universe. I want to see them see what they can do with it. Maybe give it off to someone and have them work on animation, or have, you know what I mean? I don't know if they'll be able to, but I'm just, spitballing. But
the secret level episode was really good.
Yeah.
The secret level episode of Concord, or about Concord, was actually really good.
That's what I think some of these can show. I mean, we've seen that games can be into TV shows. Obviously, one of the biggest ones I've always said was ARMS. If ARMS for the Nintendo Switch was made earlier, it would have been a Saturday morning cartoon show. Then you got a game like Hi-Fi Rush, which is a Saturday morning cartoon show. Like that, there's no doubt about that.
And it's something interesting to be said about the Concord and how much it relies on revisionist history. I've seen so many games get called the next Concord, and then they just don't fail. Right? And then people kind of forget about it. Like when people were calling High Guard the next Concord, it was not the first game to get that moniker. But because some other games got it and then succeeded, people just kind of erased that from history. So, High Guard became Concord 2, Marathon became Concord 3, but then didn't flop. And so, people will conveniently forget about that and they'll move on to the next game. And it shows how much of this outrage cycle is not really rooted in anything. It's just blind hatred. That's the part that always gets me when I'm watching people talk about a game that they don't want to play. They never would have wanted to play. They're not interested in the genre or anything. They didn't play it out of curiosity, but they're still here in every comment section and every trailer shit talking the game, and then the game turns out to be good. And they're like, "See, told you so. I knew it would be bad." And then they just move on to the next game.
Say something about that too? Didn't Jeff Kaplan say something about that too?
Yeah. He said something similar. He was like, if you don't like the game, you're not interested in the game, then shut the fuck up.
And I saw so many. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, I love that. I just saw that today. And I love that someone in the industry is welcome out to go and go up front and say that shit. Because I honestly think there's a lot of gamers that need to hear that. If you're not interested in it, if you're not if you could take it in the realm of food, if you're not interested in fried fish, you never had fried fish. I'm not ever going to ever have fried fish. I don't want to hear your opinion on fucking fried fish.
Facts.
And just like any other game, if you have no interest in Crimson Desert or wherever game, if you have no interest in playing it, whether now or in the future, and you're just no, I don't give a fuck about what your opinion is on this game. It's honestly, because all you doing now is just spitting out just fucking hate for something that don't fucking matter. And it's easier to just shut the fuck up and let the people who want to enjoy it, let them enjoy it.
Yeah, and Jeff Kaplan pointed, to his point of Jeff Kaplan saying that you had so many people upset about, I wouldn't do that if I was somebody trying to pitch a game to consumers, or that's not very consumer. You're not I wouldn't say that to your consumer, such and such. As somebody who, granted, I don't work in the game.
Bitches.
Correct. As somebody who don't work in the game, I don't design games, stuff like this. But what he said needed to be said. Whether you're a consumer or not, or whether you're somebody who's trying to pitch games or not, it's the fact that this needs to be said. Somebody need to say it, because there's too many of you all out here who trash games, like I said, you're never going to play, that you never had any intention to play, never liked. And that's one of my things is every game is not made for you, and that's okay. You
Yes.
have to learn not just because you're not included. This is something you're not included, or this game is not for you. You have to be okay with that. And for somebody who does it, if you feel like this game should be for you and such and like, and you got a problem with it, you might need to go get some counseling or go step outside and touch some grass. Get off. Everything is not made for you. Everything is not for you, designated for you. Everything is not going to include you. You have to be okay with that. If you want to participate and play, that's fine. But if you want to sit up here and bitch and complain about a game that you don't, the type of game, a genre of game that you don't play and had no intention to play, get out of here, man. Go find something to do. Go play in traffic.
You know what this sound like? It boils down to one word: entitlement. That sense of entitlement is a motherfucker.
I do think content creators have to take some of the blame on that too, where there are so many frenzies that are whipped up about different games that literally would have never happened organically. But
Pronouns.
A content creator needed to pay rent that month, so they're like, okay, I guess I'll whip up a frenzy. I think Crimson Desert is the perfect example. It's just a game that some people really like and some people don't like. At the end of the day, that is it. But it got turned into a whole thing because preemptively, before the game came out, you saw a lot of content creators kind of ramping up the discourse. They were like, "Oh, some of those industries, they're not going to like this one. This is one of those gamer type games. You know, anybody who doesn't like this game isn't a gamer." And so they kind of created the foundation already. Game comes out, some people like it, some people don't like it, and they both start shouting at each other. And you're like,
what is that called? It's like, is it the true Scotsman fallacy?
That's kind of like, I guess it's a version of that could be applied here. It's like
real gamers.
No gamer would like Crimson Desert. Oh well, I'm a gamer and I like Crimson Desert. Okay, well, no true gamer.
Yeah,
and
I hate that.
It gets applied in reverse too. It's like, every gamer loves Crimson Desert. Well, I'm a gamer and I don't like the game. Okay, well, no, every true gamer would like it, and it's manufactured because it's free content.
And
it's literally free content. If you can get people yelling about a game in any direction, just covering it, taking a side, not taking a side, it doesn't matter. You have a month's worth of videos that you can make.
Yeah, you do, and it's so crazy. Like, I try my best. I don't like the rage bait at all. I addressed my concern with we didn't see base gameplay footage for base consoles, the base PS5 and the Series X, base console footage. And I addressed my concern. Now, in my video, I stated I'm concerned. However, I'm still excited for the game. I'm still such and such. And so many people, I had a few comments. Well, such and such. Well, we got this, man. If it worked on the PS5 Pro, it'll do this. Listen, I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to start any major discourse. I'm just a voice, addressing my concern with the game. And that's why people have a problem with, or they run with the difference of me, voicing a concern for a game to, then it turns into something else, or it turns into I'm hating on the game, or I'm doing this, whatever the case may be. Like, all I did was addressing the concern, man. Y'all have got to learn how, and it goes to a point I was thinking about making or doing of, there's no actual critical thinking in game or media literacy where it comes to where I'm telling you one thing and you're hearing something else. Yes. Like I was very clear in what I said, but you took it as this and you want to start a whole. No, I didn't say that. And that's a big problem nowadays in just gaming and just in this content creator world as well, where you do have some content creators who feed into that, who will, like Hydra just said, make a real, like I said, will grift and make a whole video or videos for a month about, especially before a game comes out, about how this game is, how that this, from what we see. Like, bruh, like y'all, you have to understand that it's okay. Like I said, it's okay to address your concern, but sitting up here just straight hating or trashing the game, that's where it ends. That's where it definitely should end and shouldn't be. That's my problem.
Well, and I think we're also seeing too is like to bring it back also with the whole realm of like mid trash, and people are taking those as like legitimate. That's my review of it, right? That's my review. It's like, what's your review of the game? Oh, it's mid. That's cool. Like, did your teacher not ever tell you to show your work? Like, I mean, and that's why I want them to. That's why I always say you should be able to articulate your points to some extent of how, like, where you like, where you don't.
Yeah.
It sound like a dick for this, but hey, to your point, you gotta start questioning what some of these motherfuckers with the school at. We from Alabama, we in the bottom bottom 45 when it comes to reading levels and stuff. You gotta start asking some of these questions. You gotta start asking some of these questions. You can't articulate where your thoughts come from.
It's very obvious too when these thoughts, like you can tell sometimes the thoughts aren't their own. They receive the checklist of talking points from a content creator, and they're like, okay, so I'll go through the list, and then once the list runs out, they're like,
cooked.
Oh, I'm not gonna take the time to explain it to you. You have to look this up on your own. It's like, brother, you don't know.
They
you don't even know why you think what you do.
They need the validation.
Concerning.
Correct.
That's what they're really looking for. They're looking for the validation that whether it's their opinion or not, it's about being correct. So it's not about, and so it's like anyone outside of that who enjoys, let's say, Crimson Desert. Like, I'm gonna be honest right now, I've noticed myself, I'm trying to force myself to like Crimson Desert. I played Crimson.
Oh no, go ahead. I played Crimson Desert last year at PAX East in Boston. And I played it. Action was cool, but I could just not connect with the protagonist. I gotta feel like that story is gonna be kind of. And then somebody told me it was originally meant to be an MMORPG. I can tell.
You can definitely tell.
Cliff is the biggest block of wood. Like, as a protagonist, it's actually kind of scary.
Yeah, so it's like I don't just play games where it's like, oh, this action's cool. What's this story gonna be like? And like I said, the action was cool. Blaring a little bit. I was the only person to be the boss in my little group while I was there. You know what I'm saying? The boy skilled, the boy talented. But yeah, I just couldn't connect with the protagonist and hustle. Like, hey, bro, you play Crystal Deals with that? I was like, it's all right, it's cool. Now, if it came on PlayStation Plus for free, I might give it a spin. But that ain't something I'm gonna spend my money on.
And that's why, like, I just like I'm playing it, and like I can see where there's definitely positives to it. But I'm sitting there as I'm playing it, and I'm like, there's just other things I can go play and I can enjoy. I'm the type of person that I don't want to wait. Like, I want that story to kind of ramp up. Let's get going. I can do slow burn games. There's a limit to how long I can do a slow burn.
Yeah.
Like when I don't know anything at all, or just say like the bare 1%, I'm just not feeling it. And I think that's fine. I think the game's good, and I'm glad there's other people who really, really enjoy it. But for me, I just am not one that does. And I think like that alone is more than some of these other people can handle. Like to be honest, because of the fact of the need for validation. This is why a lot of the outrage and stuff that comes on it, because it's like it's easier, as we mentioned right before we started. It's easy to grift. It's easy to just go with what everybody else is saying about it.
Correct.
And like, whether and everyone's saying whether the game is bad, whether the game is trash, whether the game is woke, whatever the fuck,
Please leave that woke word alone. You gonna make me
listen. I kid you not. I was having a somewhat of a conversation or discussion with somebody in my comments on one of my TikToks about, because they brought up how a Sweet Baby Inc. destroyed a certain game, and I'm like, what? Yeah, Sweet Baby Inc. And so I'm like, what did Sweet Baby Inc.? Because my question, I'm like, what did Sweet Baby Inc. do? Well, they did such and such, such and such. So what did they? So did they develop the game? Man, no, they did such as so. But did it affect the gameplay? No, it was just so again, what did Sweet Baby Inc. do to destroy the game? And it's like they can't give me a straight answer, or they can only go once again of what they've heard or what they were told.
Put in their agendas.
Correct. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. Like, then I bring up games that people love, or God of War Ragnarok, they worked on that, huh? They're also working on Wolverine. Did you know that? Huh? Yeah. Insomniac uses them all the time. They worked on Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all they if you're going to actually look up and do some research as to what they actually did, then it's then you know, and maybe we can have a conversation. I had like, and it was just once again a game that I really enjoyed, Tales of Kanzera's Owl, but because it was a black man, studio head or whatever, and so many people wanted to. The game was woke. What was
and there's my issue with that word, because they have taken an urban word and turned into a political term, and it doesn't have nothing to do with whatever you fucking saying.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
You feel me? Like and Husky made this point, and like I said, Afro, I'm a fence setter because sometimes I can see things from both sides, but in this climate now, it's hard to fence it when people say so many dumb shit to piss you off, and it kind of pushes you to one side. Like when they made Ironheart, I wasn't gonna watch Ironheart, but they said it was woke. Now I gotta say fuck you and watch it, even though I don't want to. I am that type of petty. I will sit there and watch something just because you're saying dumb shit. Now it's getting supported when he's supposed to get. But like, take this word woke, and then you could bitch and complain about, oh, why don't you get your own? And then when we get our own,
it's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. South, like I said, south of midnight.
Have you guys ever watched when they talk about like the game shows, the game shows kind of like the Xbox Direct and stuff, when they bring in stuff featuring like people of color, they eventually have to just turn the comments off because it's just straight racism.
Yeah.
It's straight racism that goes through there, and it's over and over and over and over, and it's like it's an annoying thing to have to constantly deal with because it's by some of, and sorry to cut you there, it's by some of the dumbest motherfuckers who have the littlest, the most unintelligent, uncreative, and like just uninspired fucking takes, period. That the only reason that comes down to it is just a person of color. When you start to strip away all their other reasonings for, well, I don't like the cringe dialogue and, Forspoken. Leon Kennedy is cringe as fuck, bro.
And people love him for it.
Yeah. Like,
he's goofy as hell. Like, bro, you got these cheesy ass puns. Oh, that's going to be
a second opinion.
Yeah.
Dante's cringe as fuck. But you know what? We tolerate. Honestly, we just move past it because that's how that character.
No, we move past it because they're white male characters.
Duke Nukem was cringy as fuck, bro. Duke Nukem was
very much
Nukem.
That last Duke Nukem game was so fucking garbage and cringy. They didn't make a fucking another one. I bought that Duke Nukem game.
10 years in development, I think it was too. It was in development.
I bought that Duke Nukem game and I couldn't get paid. I said, bro, I can't fucking play this.
I mean, it's the same thing too. You see the way that they criticize bad games as well. When Mind's Eye came out, there weren't any think pieces about how like inclusivity or this was ruining the gaming industry. They're just like, yeah, this is a one-off bad game. Wow, what a bad game that this one studio made that's very isolated. How did that happen? And then like any game with like a black lead comes out and it doesn't do well financially, it's like, this is what you get for including black people, guys. Have you ever considered that maybe that you shouldn't have done that?
Bro, you do that voice way too well.
Bro, and take Silent Hill. We have a black protagonist in Silent Hill. I'm not a fan of the black protagonist because I'm like, what black man would be sitting around there doing shit like that?
You're thinking logically. This is a game space.
Like, why the fuck is he doing some of this shit? But me personally, after playing Silent Hill 2, I wasn't fucking with another Silent Hill because I'm like, bro, James Sutherland was a fucking dumbass. Like, why are you sticking your arm in mysterious holes and you don't know what's on the other end and you see random shit walk around this bitch just he? Hey, some points in the game, he's just sticking his arm and shit, now pulling shit out like, oh, I need this for my next subject. How did you even fucking know that was going to be in there? So I'm not a fan of that. But like now, case in point, now that you're like, oh, it's woke. Well, bitch, now I got to go buy it to say fuck you. So there's that.
I remember when Alan Wake 2, because the problem is the criticisms are made by people who don't care about the franchises oftentimes, and people who don't even like care about gaming all that much
don't
either.
Even play it.
When Alan Wake 2 announced Saga Anderson as a character, she's a black woman. a lot of people were going around saying, wow, they really just like race and gender changed Alan Wake into a black woman. And it's like, no, she's a different character. She is just a completely separate character. Alan Wake's also playable. He's also there. It's called Alan Wake still. Don't worry.
They can't look at anything without feeling like it's punching down. It's that saying that like when the equality looks like oppression to those who are used to being oppressors. And so when they see someone who's a black woman in there who might take that, who has the same spotlight as, like, let's say Alan Wake, right? No, they're trying to diminish him right away. They're trying to diminish him and to bring her up. And that's never really been the thing. Like, and it's like, and that's why you start telling them, give me examples of when a woman is brought up and is specifically trying to neuter like a male character, the male lead, in order to bring the woman up. And then we can talk about the story. Let's go in there and see if this is actually true, because these people are headline debaters. They see something, they see whatever the fucking black bold print is, and then take that as factual instead of looking at anything else that's actually going on. They can't actually relate the story because they can't fucking read. They can't comprehend anything that's going on. And then they let these fucking dudes, who are some of the most hypocritical people on the planet, tell them that the problems that they have in gaming, in life, is because of a random person that doesn't have anything to do with them.
Bro, two points I like to make. One, damn, I lost it. So I'm gonna go with my other point. Like, bro, America, America, as much as we have race issues, we don't have race issues. We have classes issues, and it's usually the upper class pointing at the like other shit to distract people from what's really going on. So it's kind of like one of those things, like, oh yeah, look at that. That's why your life is shit right now, because they're giving them all your jobs, and it's like DEI, but it's like, bro, like we don't even benefit from that like that. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, when you see someone like Pete Hegseth saying that like they've eliminated DEI in the military, I'm like, brother, how did you get this position? You aren't qualified. How are you here,
bro?
Right? And that's once again,
it's like taking the CEO out of a company and replacing it with the assistant manager.
That's literally what they've done with his cabinet and all other positions. Like, why is dude's wife over or doing something with the Air Force now? Whatever she got appointed to do. Like,
who? The Drewski.
Yeah. Why is she?
Don't say her name. She might send you a cease and desist now.
That's what I said. Why is the Drewski lady being appointed over the, I think something over the military or Air Force, one over the two, and I'm like,
she more pissed off because they never than her husband getting passing on,
because they never care. Yeah, I know. There's a place in fucking Wisconsin that wants to name one of their highways after Charlie Kirk. And it pisses me the fuck off because I'm like, why? You guys don't know anything about him. He was just some podcaster that got popped. And so the thing that gets me about it is the fact that it's a bunch of people who are clearly not qualified for the positions that they're in. Like, this is the equivalent of playing dodgeball and only picking the people that you like. And like,
picking your homeboys.
Yeah, they picked everybody else but the people that were good.
Correct.
This McMahon being appointed as like the secretary of
education.
Secretary of education.
This lady, this is the same lady that got put through tables in the WWE
and was bad at it. And was bad at it
at a certain point in time. Like, and y'all put this lady over education, bro. It's like Afro compared to the volleyball. I'm gonna compare it to basketball. It's like having a lineup with NBA players and your friends, and you're picking, and instead of picking the NBA players, you're picking your friends.
Yeah,
like to win $1 million game, a game for $1 million, and you got NBA players to choose from, but you got your friends. You picking your friends instead of the NBA players. That's what you're doing right now.
Right.
Another point, Ketanji, let me make sure I say it. Ketanji Brown Jackson or Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yeah. Well qualified woman, right? It was DEI. It was DEI. It was
Yeah.
DEI.
Well, and the
But
thing
now-
is I want to kind of touch on this real quick about the DEI thing
Wait.
because
Wait,
see
boys.
this in-
I'm sorry.
oh, we see we see the only good statement came from
Oh, shit.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to hold that laugh in. But like it's but like I think what gets me so annoyed about it is this push of like DEI was bad, having no, and this once again, we just talked about this, having no clue what DEI actually is besides just the diversity, equity, and inclusion. They don't know anything that actually goes in there, but because they've just listened to people, not the people who actually know what it all entails, but listen to other people who just agreed with their thought point. That's all it comes down to. They already thought that a lot of these people, and I think we're learning this right now, a lot of people never move past their racism. They've never moved past their racism. They just passed it down and it took different forms. Racism can't exist. It just changes form. And we are seeing this over and over. When it was slavery, when it wasn't slavery, it was Jim Crow. When it wasn't Jim Crow, it was segregation. After segregation, all that shit. After that, it was redlining. Redlining still goes on. And then now it's DEI, right? It's so bad for them. And what pisses me off, and I know I'm kind of ranting about this, but like what pisses me off is this affects not just our lives as black men and Hydra, but but also everybody else. It affects their lives too, because their lives become more expensive, their lives become more difficult, their children become dumber as fuck. But they don't care because it still affects black and brown people. And we see this once again with video games, where it's like we're taking, if we make sure that we just keep attacking black creators, and guess what? Then we lose a lot of the creativity in the games, and they keep getting the same fucking games that they've been bitching have never made a change. And so eventually it just gets to the point where it's like, what the fuck you supposed to do?
Well, I think earlier you said something about, or someone said something about, they're only listening to people who read headlines.
Yeah.
Right. And the people don't even look into it. I was thinking about Grums, and he's not even like a headline guy. He's a screenshot merchant. This guy, like, I remember when he got pissed off at Monster Hunter specifically because they had like woman in the game who didn't look like Stellar Blade. And he was posting the screenshot that he saw, and he was like, "Oh, we've lost Monster Hunter, guys. They've gone woke now." And I remember very clearly someone sent him a photo of another Monster Hunter character who is like more on the revealing side, and he was like, "Never mind, they're saved." But I was thinking, like, both of these characters were revealed in the same trailer. Like, if you saw one of these characters, you had to have seen the other character, unless, of course, you didn't watch the trailer and you just saw a screenshot and you just went with it.
Right? He probably had somebody sent to him. Somebody sent it to him.
Someone
He went
sent him a
with
screenshot. He didn't do any research. He didn't even not even research. He didn't even look at the trailer. He didn't look up the character. He just took the screenshot, immediately went post, said the game is gone forever, and he tried to create a discourse cycle off of that. And obviously it got shot down by like Monster Hunter fans because they were having none of it. But there are other fan bases that are much more susceptible than that. And if that's the level of effort that like your figurehead is putting into his work, imagine how much effort you're getting kind of transitioned into your thought process if you're just taking his words and regurgitating them. You're utilizing less thought than him, and he already wasn't thinking.
Exactly.
Goes back to the AI conversation we're having. People don't like to do their own research.
Well, and there was so there one of the reviews on Metacritic got a 0 out of 10. I don't know how much true this is, but I've seen it blowing up around my my Facebook space about the fact that one of the reviews gave a 0 out of 10 because there wasn't LGBT representation in the Crimson Desert, right?
Oh, that was fake.
And I'm sure it was, but the thing is I never really had a chance to look into it. So that's why I've never said anything about it. But it also just, I was like, okay, well, let's say even if it's true, right? That's one person's, but what they've been doing is they've been cycling it around different different review, like, or not review, but like different like game little pages and stuff like that, right? On purpose, trying to get people, trying to attack something that's not even real because they don't look into it. and that's the part that even bothers me. Even if it's true, right? It is one person's opinion. If that's what stopped you from playing like Crimson Desert, then I guess that's a you thing, buddy.
Yeah.
But like, it's so wild. Like,
it's funny how many people will say like, I don't believe in IGN, I don't trust any reviewer, but will be the fastest people to approach their videos in the comment section saying that the review is trash. It's like, if you don't care, it goes back to the gaming conversation. If you really don't care about something, the best way to not care about it is to not engage with it. If you're engaging with it, you're no different from a fan. You're on the algorithm treats you the exact same.
Correct.
And so like when you see, but the people keep doing it because they like content creators will crap on reviewers because at least they have a monetary incentive. Like those videos get a lot of views, they can farm discourse. If you're just like a random person, you're not a content creator and you're trying to dunk on reviewers, like you're in it for the hate of the game. It's like you're just
for the love of the game. You're just hateful,
and you're getting them on your For You page more because you're commenting on their shit, and then you're going to get more angry and you're going to keep commenting. I'm like, what is that? Just play what you want.
This is the same. These are the same people who also go into like, I don't watch news, and then they just spit out every fucking like Fox News talking point. And then they're just like, no, I don't really watch news. Shut the fuck up, bro. Like, whether you're getting it from Fox News, Newsmax, something like that, you watching the same shit. Like, you watching the same shit, you catching the same shit. No research, no facts. There's no facts to base their opinion off of.
Listen, it bothers me. It really upsets me. Like I said, you have somebody like you mentioned the headline of somebody, there's no LGBTQ representation in the game, so they, gave like whether that was true or not. Like I said, once again, most people will see the headline and run with it. Most people won't go and check. Like, and it's the whole Dragon Age to Veilguard thing where sites or developer or reviewer, whoever went in after they found out about the whole scene about where you can
non-binary shit.
Yeah. People went in and was from IGN to other places putting out whole articles and stuff like that. It's like they drew attention to it. They lean into the hate. Granted, their review or whatever may have not been hateful, or their article about that part may have not been hateful. It's the fact of the society we in, that how the internet is in the first place, and you're just leaning into it. You're not focused. Your headline is part of the issue. You're not helping. You're not trying to redirect. You're not trying to shine any type of positivity onto it. Like, you're hurting this. And a lot of times where my dislike for gaming sites or gaming websites is not, it doesn't necessarily stem from reviews. Like myself, like I didn't have a problem with IGN for a long time, but then you had as far as their like their reviews, like once again, I understood there were opinion pieces. Like that's their person's opinion. I don't understand why we got somebody who don't like first-person shooters reviewing a first-person shooter, but I digress. It came from the other stuff away, how they would go along with so much stuff. Like, it really pissed me off. Like, someone who is like, I love all the systems. I have all the systems, love all of them. However, I do prefer to play on Xbox. But I saw a lot of hate where it comes to anytime Xbox did anything, especially when it came to IGN, like it was always some type of, they would report the negative anytime something did with Xbox. I remember when Starfield came out. I know a lot of people had a problem with Starfield. I was okay with Starfield getting a 7 from IGN or whatever the case may be. Didn't really care about it because I was going to play the game regardless. I love Starfield.
7 is not a bad number.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I love to see. I'm glad it's going to PlayStation. I'm glad a lot more people are getting to play it.
On PlayStation.
Listen. So when he play it, he can come back to me and be like, hey. So I'm gonna be like, I already know, bro. But I'm excited for that. But like I used to listen to one of IGN's podcasts, and I kid you not, every time something was wrong or they found the way to bring up or trash Starfield, every time anytime something came up, it was trash and the jumping. They could be talking about the furthest game away from Starfield. Guess what? They're gonna find some way to bring it up and trash. And I'm like, I don't like this. Like, why are we trashing this game? Especially if you want to, there are other games out there, but why are y'all always bringing this game up? And it just like it makes me feel like because the game was a certain point in time exclusive to Xbox, like it's an issue, like it's this or it's that, and it's like it made me stop. Like, you know what, if that's what y'all do, that's fine, but it's like, once again, it wasn't just the reviews, it was just other stuff. And other gaming sites, there's a couple of other ones out there that I refuse to even read anything on because like they're pushing a certain narrative and it pisses me off. Like you can't, like there's no unbiased, not say unbiased, but like a type of balanced opinion. Like it's okay for you to have an opinion or something, or if you're writing an article, give me the facts first, and then you can say that last piece. Like when I write, if I'm writing, I'm going to give you the facts, and then maybe that last paragraph, I'll include my thoughts as far as what I feel or whatever the case may be, man. But it's just, it's the way things now. That a lot of these sites are pushing a certain narrative, trying to feed into these grifters or the gaming space or the gaming community, and they feed into a lot of the hate a lot of times.
Yeah, I think what it is really, and it's kind of a factor in causing all of these problems, is we live now in a kind of attention economy motivated by clicks. Yeah. And so when the incentive for everyone, regardless of what you talk about, what you like or whatever, comes down to getting as much attention as possible, there are certain methods that will naturally create these like adversarial conversations. It is algorithmically better to say this is the best game of all time instead of saying this is my favorite game of all time, because people will then react to seeing best. They'll think, oh, you're saying that it's better than my favorite game. They'll comment, they'll engage, and that will boost in the algorithm. But as a whole, that makes it more toxic, right? If you're writing an opinion piece about a completely separate game, you're incentivized to kind of bring up some other games, whether to bring in that audience or maybe to trash on those games to get some kind of reaction. Player count numbers especially. So many articles and content creators love to talk about player counts because, oh, this game lost 95% of its player count in the first week, or it sustained its player count. The player count hit a new peak, and it's just a really good way of getting reactions out of people. And so long, I guess, like the internet as a whole, there are spaces where you can have good conversations. You can get different perspectives, and you can keep it civil. It's just not promoted by the algorithm. It's not as incentivized to be like that.
Also, anybody else play Dragon Age Veilguard?
Yeah,
I have to get around to it.
Yeah, I have. I'm still working through it.
Okay. Because I ain't gonna lie, I romance Tosh non-binary ass. So yeah, I was just trying to see anybody else made that decision. So that's just.
I haven't done any of the romance stuff. No, I started with Harding. I like Harding.
The dwarf.
Something kind of interesting actually about the Dragon Age Veilguard thing, and this is just like me completely speculating. I do wonder when the decision was made for it to be put on PS Plus, like, because it went on the PS Plus really quick after launch, 2
to 3 months after.
Yeah, it was like, when did it come out? Because it was literally like January the next year.
It was October, because I remember because I bought a shit ton of games and I was balancing and struggling to play them all.
Yeah,
because I think it was Dragon Age. No, I think it was Dragon Age Veilguard, 2K, Call of Duty, and something else, like another game or two dropped that month, and I was like, God damn!
Yeah, because in January of the following year, it went on PS Plus, and I remember thinking, I was like, okay, even if this game sold like ass, that is like really fast, and so it makes me wonder if they made that decision before the game came out, because like I said earlier, like these companies, they move really slow. A lot of time takes to get approval, to get all these licensing things arranged and all that. So like if they knew it wasn't going to do well before it came out, like they know, okay, we kept switching around how this game was going to be, we already know it's not going to do as well, they might have already signed that deal with PlayStation, like, or they were finalizing the deal as the game was coming out, regardless of how the game did. Because they just knew. I
ain't gonna lie, I might get bad taste in games, so I thought it was a good game. I would have
it's not about the quality of the game. I think like sometimes, like if you're like an economics guy or whatever, you just like the writings on the wall. Like you see the sentiment surrounding the game. You know the current climate of how people will react to things, and you're just like, I know this is gonna be like an outrage.
Well, and that's the
box.
thing. I think what gets me, like, what's also kind of annoying is the fact that, granted, they didn't know that. They probably knew it when, like, Tosh, it was developed some sort of traction, because at the end of the day, like, attention, good or bad, is still attention to them and still brings in those draws. But it's like, the game itself is not bad. The game itself is not bad. It's not a bad game. It's actually a pretty solidly good game. And the thing is a lot of these players, or people who even bothered to play it, because of their own inability to really dig into why they did either did not like it or something, it just damages what an actual really review is. And to be honest, what sucks is as a developer, where the fuck do you go from there?
You get fired.
Yeah, you just
You get laid off.
Or you go home.
Because that's low key what happened. Because then,
Yeah.
like BioWare and a couple other ones, like they lost a lot of people.
I just
Like, go ahead.
I just can't imagine it. I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
the studio got reduced to under 100 employees after the release of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and they had to keep releasing assurances that, like, I think it was like the new Mass Effect game is still fine.
being worked. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like they gutted the studio afterwards.
But you gotta
Listen.
be passionate about working there.
Yeah.
If Mass Effect, and as much as I want to play one, I still need to go through the rest of the trilogy and what have you. But if
He
Mass
ain't gonna get through it. He ain't gonna get through it.
I will. If Mass Effect were to come out, I think even Japan America stated, like, if Mass Effect came out right now, it would probably be called woke.
Yeah.
Like, if this new Mass Effect comes out, and if there's the least bit of anything, like, it's gonna you gonna have some people calling it woke, calling it this. Like, you're gonna have some people trying to trash the game if it doesn't have such, like, if we get the previews or the trailers and all they show is a female ship.
Yeah.
Oh, they made Mass Effect woke. It's DEI. Like, it's such as like, and that's gonna clearly come from.
We all got content coming up then, bro.
Yeah. That actually, like, they did that for Baldur's Gate 3 before it came out.
The bear.
Like, there were mass campaigns of, like, this is the woke nightmare of a game. And then because it's, like, one of the most awarded games of all time, regarded in history as, like, one of the greatest of all time, the conversation died out. They had to kind of switch to another game. But you can bet your ass, if it didn't review as highly, they would have kept talking about it. It's the classic strategy. Every game is woke until it sells well. Then it actually wasn't woke. And like, I've had people in my comment sections try to explain to me how, even given their definition of woke, like the including minorities thing, Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't count because it sold well. And I'm like, okay, but that's not how definitions work. If you're going to define woke, this falls under the definition, and people love it, and it sold well. So that, by your own definition, go woke doesn't equal go broke. But the cognitive dissonance, they can't resolve it in their head, so they just say, they never define woke, and they just say, okay, this game isn't because it did well.
That's why. Go.
I'm gonna define woke. I'm gonna define woke as hate speech. If you use a woke, I think you're a fucking hater. How about that?
No, it's fair.
Yeah.
That's why when someone comes in to try to use woke and they're like, "Well, you know what I mean," and I'm like, "No, you got to, like, sit here and actually explain it to me."
The definition,
clear definition. I'm not gonna let nobody, especially, and I'll put this on my own record right here. I ain't letting no white person go and try to tell me what the fuck woke is. So, like, I'm not letting any of that shit happen. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you can't tell me what a fucking word means, then, I mean, I've said before, if you can't tell me what it means, then you don't need to fucking be here. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to be, like, researching a little bit. You need to go look up,
learn how to articulate yourself.
Yep, pretty much. Figure it out or shut the fuck up.
Come up with your own ideas. If you don't like a game, that's fine. But, like, tell me why. Right? The why is the important part here. We gotta know what your thoughts are, not what some creator you're watching says, not what some other review says, not a word that you can't define. Tell me what you think about the game, and if you can't do that, then I don't care about what you have to say.
Correct. No, exactly. And that's the thing. In a world where everyone wants an opinion, everyone feels like their opinion is valid. They get real pissed when they find out that you don't care.
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one.
That's true. But I guess the
true.
last question for y'all here before we wrap this up is where can they find y'all here?
You can find me on YouTube at Hydramazing, on Twitch at Hydramazing, on TikTok as well at Hydramazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, y'all can find me at TheHuskyHokage everywhere on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all the socials. Also, make sure y'all check out Victory Road AGP on YouTube, TikTok, and IG. That's if you want more of me and Dub together and some of our antics and situations and all the stuff that we do. Victory Road AGP on IG, TikTok, and YouTube, man.
That makes sense. I'm just gonna put all social media for that one because I
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Close enough.
But and then for myself, you guys know where you can find me, Twitch or YouTube, because that's how you are watching this. So let everybody know. Also up on TikTok, there's me on TikTok, IG, Threads, Facebook, and sometimes I even go outside. It's crazy. And so yeah, it's
outside expensive. Outside expensive gas, $8 down here.
I know. I walk outside and instantly I'm like,
yeah,
damn,
I'm gonna start stealing ass to drive my car.
It's $8 for real, I know.
Downtown LA, gas is like $8.50. I usually don't. I don't stay in downtown. I stay kind of like outside of LA. I never check gas prices because my gas is always expensive anyway. My gas is usually like $5 a gallon. I so happen to be getting gas the other day, and like I said, I get premium gas, so my gas is always high, so I never check. I just know, okay, I'm gonna put whatever in here. I so happen to hit that fucking premium button. I saw a 6 and a 9, and I almost shit myself. I said, hold the fuck up. So yeah, gas is pretty. Gas.
Bro, you just pushing your own car at that point. Fuck it, I don't need the gas that badly.
Yeah.
Like,
Put the workout while you're at it.
Yeah, I work from home. I'm just gonna sell ass if I need to go somewhere.
Alrighty, y'all. Well, I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for taking the time for that today. And I got another podcast coming up on Monday here with another special guest, so be sure to check that one out as well. And as always, I'm Taylor from Afro OG, and I will catch every one of you motherfuckers in the next one. Bye-bye.